What is good? What is good? You are tuning in to Das Bones and
Monkey D. Michael.
And we are back and better than ever, and we are switching gears. We have been on a real tear with One Piece lately. But with the final season being ongoing, it is only right that we revisit Attack on Titan, otherwise known as Shingeki no Kyojin. Season 4 has been everything and more, like you had just mentioned.
Oh yeah. It's literally been just honestly, since I read it, it's been really awesome watching it in the anime, but also being able to watch people's reactions to this has just been absolutely dumbfounding.
Yeah, you see a lot of people who really have been hearing about Attack on Titan for so long, and now being able to get to it, and this is the climax of it, like, of course, they're really not fumbling the bag in any way, shape, or form.
No,
they're just the same way I feel like One Piece is kind of outdoing itself with each episode. They're going deeper and deeper with the lore and the betrayal and the switching side. Right now, that we're seeing with episode 72 that came out titled Children of the Forest, Jaeger's faction within the Survey Corps and just all of the people of Paradise Island is really taking shape and like identifying and just separating themselves from everybody else.
It's been honestly crazy to watch, especially watching the premiere getting blown up and then having to deal with that, especially considering Armin and Mikasa were so close to that explosion.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy because they were a little naive to it, but they were witnessing the setup for it before their very eyes, but they were so caught up in their own conversation and like the drama between what Eren's real intentions are, what is he doing with Zeke, like what are the next steps to take, and like all of a sudden at the drop of a hat, it's an explosion.
It's gotten to the point where who do you trust anymore? Like who are we looking at?
Yeah, Eren was the linchpin. He's of course the main character of the series, but when your main character goes rogue, where does the series go from there? And that's something that I think this show does a great way of fleshing out, because we're starting to see that he is refusing to hold to the traditional mold of what the shonen MC is supposed to do.
Right.
And like between him and Zeke, it's kind of like, what are them Jaeger bros up to? Like that's what Levi wants to know, because they're having their little brief discussion about what his reasonings were and the info that he revealed to him when they got to Paradise Island. So between the OG Survey Corps members and these Jaegerists, it's really just kind of swirling and spiraling into something crazy.
And then also getting this kind of dual action of seeing Gabby and Eren, and almost kind of getting a flashback of like Gabby basically being Eren and like going through this hate for, the Eldians, the people of Paradise Island, because so ignorant to what is actually going on around her.
Yeah, and that was what was incredible about this episode. You got to see kind of just the blind hatred from not really having any perspective. Eren got to experience it when he did his infiltration of Marley, of course, but this is Gabby and Falco really doing it together. And what was so kind of gut-wrenching here was because their first interactions with humans, once they came here, like the first Eldians they really met and bonded with were Sasha's family, and it was Kaya, who was her adopted sister, that really bonded and just completely trusted them and was willing to take them in and help them without any info. And that was, you kind of get to see her mind. She was kind of losing her mind a little bit once we saw her get taken back to the top floor, because once she confronted Niccolo and along with Falco and revealed who they were, and he gets out of him that they're the ones, she's the one that killed Sasha.
Right.
It was just crazy to see. Falco, once again, he kind of saves her. He defends her.
He was on the back end. He was peeping it before she even had a thought. Like, he's like, wait, like he's cognitive of the fact that these are people too and they have emotions just like us, and maybe you should slow down on all of your hate speech.
Yeah, like don't be so like willing to just blindly spew out hate when you don't really know who you're around and you don't really know who you're affecting when you do that. Because she was just completely naive to the fact that Sasha was somebody that he was clearly in love with and had a deep connection with. And now it's on and popping as soon as he finds that out. Like he pulls out the wine bottle, which is a whole nother story of his own, and he cracks Falco in the head with it going for her. But as soon as he gave her a nice little one after that, which I feel like everybody that was really on the I hate Gabby train loved to see. But it's really climbing, and it's getting to a point where I don't know if there are many series to compare it to.
Oh no, definitely not. This has definitely been like an anime for the decades. A manga as well. I mean, just the story in general has been phenomenal, because I think a lot of us, when we first started the series, we expected it to be, good versus evil, and we've gotten to the point where humans are the monsters and Titans are unwilling participants in this war.
Yeah, they're the standard pawns that really didn't get an opportunity to have a say in it. They are literally prisoners of war, or they are people who are just
they're just
deemed
collateral
trash.
damage,
Yeah,
I
they're
guess,
collateral
you know?
damage. And I am looking to see what comes from like the spinal fluid thing that got revealed.
Yeah.
Because Niccolo revealed that the spinal fluid of Zeke, who is heir to the royal family, who is the colossal type, not the colossal, but the beast type, he has got tricks up his sleeve. We know that that's what he did with the people of Regako Island. That mist that they spewed out had his spinal fluid in it. And once he used that signal that tapped into the fountain type, he turned all of it. What is to come next from that's what I really want to see. Like, we only have 3 episodes left, I believe. So
And see, that was the crazy thing, is that like they even took that into consideration afterwards, is that they were taking Zeke's words for fact. They were like, oh, this is how that happened, like this is how we did it. And now that they have this chance that it's possibly in the wine now, it doesn't have to be a gas, it can be in liquid form, it can be in different form. That's definitely a game changer.
he's really like these Jaeger brothers, man. They setting themselves apart. They're becoming like any classic dynamic duo. I don't even know if you want to call it classic, because they're really becoming hated.
Right.
You're starting to see Eren stands, and you're starting to see, well, of course, everybody always hated Zeke. Nobody
Right.
likes Zeke.
Well,
It's
maybe not on the Paradise side, but definitely on the, even on the Eldian Empire, they may have hated the Eldians, but they still regarded him as almost like a mascot. Like,
Yeah,
he's
like the Wonder Boy.
He's our Wonder Boy. Exactly.
He
yeah.
is the best example of what the Eldians who are trying to make up for the atrocities of their past are trying to do. He was a linchpin of that.
Right.
And that's what was so conflicting for Gabby and Falco, because they really don't know where their allegiances lie now. That somebody that they deemed as their leader was a double agent or triple agent all along.
Well, I mean, and not only that, but like even constructs that they were, brought up on. Like, Gabby has talked about nonstop how, she just wanted to be a good Eldian so that, Eldians after her would, be treated fairly.
Exactly.
But
So
then she's realizing that it's just racist. It's, it's
no real basis or logic behind it, and it's bad. It's
backwards for both of them.
Yeah, it's not just
for both
backwards. It's
parties.
just rooted in so much illegitimacy and
Story changing.
yeah, and fear. And like when you're ruled by fear and like demonizing others, you're not really pleading the case for yourself. But that is some of the great elements that we've seen get fleshed out in this season. And I'm hoping that they can finish it out on the right note, because the way the manga is ending, it is really something else, and this is really going there. So if they can tap into that for this last few episodes, I am definitely here to see it. I encourage everybody to get that Crunchyroll, that Funimation, anything to watch those episodes, read that manga. Man, this has been Daz Bones.
And Monkey D. Michael.
You know Lotus Always Blooms Twice.